Actually, it's pronounced.
It's Uranus. I'm calling it Uranus. Lately, I've been playing a bit of Mass Effect 2, trying to get ready for a review. I don't do the video games reviews as often as I'd like to, but there in the Mass Effect 2, it's a sci-fi game where you fly around to different planets, you can launch probes at the planets, and there's a funny little bit where the shipboard AI is a little disappointed at you when they launch a probe at Uranus. And I know that Uranus joke is kind of juvenile. Yeah, the official pronunciation of the planet Uranus is named for the Greek god of the sky, or Titan. No, I was a little unsure if he is Uranus a Titan or a god. I'm not sure. I'm trying to do research. Apparently, he's like the father of Titans, so I'm not. But he's also the father of Zeus, I think. Jupiter. Oh well, I'm getting mythology mixed up here. Let's just call him the deity of the sky to the ancient Greeks, which is kind of interesting because all the rest of the planets are named after their Roman version. And on a little interesting side note, the element uranium is actually named after the planet because there was just after Uranus was discovered, just a couple of years later, they discovered what uranium was. So that's kind of neat that they just discovered an element right after they discovered a planet. So the 18th century was a pretty impressive century to be alive for scientific discovery. One of my favorite facts about the planet Uranus is one of the first planets discovered outside of the ancient planets everybody knew about already. In 1774, William Herschel was doing sky surveys with a giant telescope he had in his backyard.
He just happened to have a giant telescope in his backyard.
If I understand right, he was kind of studying double star systems, which they really haven't figured out what was going on with those. And eventually he found a star that wasn't moving through the sky like the rest of the stars were. And he wanted to name it George. He wanted to name it after his king, King George at the time.
I bet that went over well with the international community.
Yeah, I kind of imagine the exchange went kind of like this. I have discovered this planet and I shall name it George, for I shall name it after my king. You're an ass. Oh, the Greek god of the sky? That's a perfect name for a planet. Yes, that is exactly what I meant by that. Yeah, he kind of wanted to name it Georgium Sidus, which translates to the Georgian star, which King Georgian. So, interestingly enough, it's visible to the naked eye if you're in a dark enough sky, which I don't around here, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, and it's so dim that the ancients did discover it from time to time. It's just they didn't recognize it as a planet. And thinking about all the hubbub that was raised when they decided that Pluto was a planet, can you imagine what would happen if Uranus was just turned to be not a star?
To be fair, Pluto is a lot more like a planet than Uranus is like a star.
Yeah, but could you imagine people going around the internet, hands off Uranus, hands off Uranus?
That actually sounds like fun.
Technically, it's one of the gas giants, but Uranus and Neptune, unlike Jupiter and Saturn, which has Jupiter and Saturn has more hydrogen and helium in it than Neptune and Uranus. Uranus and Neptune have more ices such as ammonia and methane and straight up water ice. They're starting to be known as the ice giants.
Don't tell Thor. He has a thing about ice giants.
If he wants to fight a planet, if he wants to. But I don't know. Could he fight? Did Thor fight Uranus in mythology? That might be interesting for death metal. Anyway, getting sidetracked again. But in my opinion, Uranus is one of my favorite planets, visually speaking. It's a beautiful, pale, bluish green ball. It's very visually stunning because there's no features on it at all. Well, in visible light, anyway, it kind of looks like a bluish green billiard ball flying through space. Well, in visible light, anyway. The other spectrums have always bring out other details that you're not going to see, but the pale, just blank slate of a planet. I don't know, not come across very well, but it's just a blank slab. And all the other planets, it's not like the other planets are ugly. It's just visually striking that there's nothing on there. Like there's no, like with Jupiter, there's a bunch of stripes on it, and the terrestrial planets, they'll have a bunch of jaggedy mountains and stuff like that. And those can look beautiful too. It's just the visual stunning of the blackness of space and the ball. There's a famous picture from Voyager 2, and the Voyager program needs to have its own couple of videos. But yeah, it's a very stunning picture from Voyager 2. Some people would consider the blank slate of Uranus to be visually boring, but I think that makes it, the blankness of it makes it a lot more stunning.
You like staring at Uranus?
And that's all fun to say. And a really fascinating fact about Uranus is although the day of on Uranus is a little over 17 hours, because that's how long it takes for the planet to spin, the sun will actually stay in the sky on Uranus for 42 years. Because I don't have anything to... Wish I planned that out a little better, but let's just use this as instead of like Earth spins on its doesn't spin on a like up and down. It spins on kind of like an axis, so the sun looks like it's spinning in the sky. Although that's not what the sun does. But Uranus is like tilted almost all the way over, so it kind of rolls around the solar system. So it must be fascinating to be on Uranus, because unfortunately there's no on Uranus because ice gas giant. But if you were able to look at the sun, it'd probably go like that around the sky over 40-something years. It'd kind of be interesting to wonder what kind of a civilization would evolve, and with a sun that kind of did that across the sky. I mean, think about how much humanity revolves around a sun that comes up and goes down every day. So instead of having a day where the sun comes up and goes down, the day goes like that, where the sun goes like that. I don't know, that's kind of an interesting idea to think of. Of course, you have a summer that's 40 years long. Imagine winter's coming on that one, where winter is 40 years long as well. What a planet that's normally just laughed at because of its name, it has a lot of fascinating things about it. And this video is going to be kind of brutal to edit down because I had to start over a lot because I just started laughing because of its poor name. But yeah, there's quite a lot to look at when it comes to Uranus, and it's kind of funny, kind of fun to study Uranus.